Hello my dear friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing the full moon in the sign of Cancerian video. Happy New Year for those of you guys who haven't seen me yet in the year 2025. And yes, we are kicking off, so to say, this 2025 with a full moon in the sign of Cancerian on January 13th. So I'm recording this today. It is January 5th or January 6th. I'm still after New Year figuring out what day of the week it is. It's Monday when I'm recording this. So yes, technically like a week before this full moon, but I have to say I personally have been already feeling, I think, some of this energy that we're going to discuss in this video today, partially because of course this full moon is with retrograde Mars in the sign of Cancerian, and Mars is re-entering as we speak into the sign of Cancerian. So the themes, so to say, that are going to be present for you right around January 13 and in the days that are coming might be already present in your life as we speak, so to say. As always, if you are new to this channel, do make sure you subscribe to not miss more videos from me. I'm going to be very active on this channel, this month and this year. Do check out my other channel as well. What else? Give this video a big thumbs up. Of course, all the information about currently what's available in terms of private sessions with me, which are in this year are a little bit more difficult to get by as my schedule is very busy. But if you need a personalized consultation with me, I'm a very experienced astrologer. I've been practicing for about 10 years, more than 10 years now, studying for over 13, practicing this, doing this full time for over 6-7 years. So if you need something, definitely, make sure you get your chart read at least once by somebody who is very good at what they do, who is very good at what they do, seriously. Because one of the things that really frustrates me a lot is when people have their chart reading done and there is so many astrologers who instill so many limiting beliefs and so much limitation that a lot of times my clients come to me with these fears, talking about how some astrologer told them how they will never get married and they will have all these issues all their life, and of course purchase this and this remedy. You know the drill, so to say. I really I try my best to defend, so to say, the good name of astrology with my beautiful face and classy, so to say, practices. So if you need something, links are down below. But anyway, let's talk about this full moon. So it's on January 13, and of course the main, so to say, characteristic, the main kind of I guess the most important thing about this full moon is of course that it is with the retrograde Mars. The full moon itself is almost at 24 degrees of Cancerian, and the retrograde Mars is at about 27 degrees of Cancerian at this point. And of course this is very important because this retrograde Mars is a very big theme of this year itself. It's not gonna go direct until later in February. It's also not going to re-enter Leo all the way until April. So this is a very important full moon. Pay attention, definitely pay attention to what's happening in your life around this full moon. A lot of themes that are going to be present at the time of this full moon might be something I don't say you will be dealing with as in a negative, but more like they might be present in your life as something to resolve, something to work through in the coming months. Not only because of that, but also because around this full moon, this is when the nodes are finally shifting signs from Aries and Libra, where they've been since the summer of 2023, into Pisces and into Virgo. North Node is officially entering Pisces right around this time, where it's gonna start making its conjunction to Neptune. Now, North Node conjunct Neptune and Pisces is something that's a little bit concerning to me in terms of mass deceptions, mass illusions, that could be taking place around this time as well. And interestingly enough, we're just a week before inauguration, so fingers crossed, everything is gonna be okay. Who knows what kind of tricks, some people have still in their pocket, but not to instill any kind of fear. I just think that definitely there's I don't know if it's true or not, but people talk about some kind of fog, different stuff happening. That's North Node Neptune. That's very much Neptune also at this 27th degree where it turned direct. So definitely be I don't want to say of course always be cautious, but definitely don't be deceived during this time. Now the good news of course is that even though this is a bit of more, in my view, challenging energy, it is still in a trine aspect to this full moon. So I do feel like even though there is so much happening, we all feel emotional, of course, with Mars retrograde and Cancerian. You might feel more emotional. I've actually already been feeling this. Like last night, out of nowhere, I got super emotional, and there was a lot of like I've kind of like gained a lot of clarity about various people in my life, and it was like out of nowhere I was like, this is how it works. And of course when we go into the 12 signs, we'll mention which area of your life this will be happening. But yeah, we might feel very emotional. However, I do feel like because this North Node and Neptune both are making a trine aspect to this full moon, I feel like we might also have the necessary understanding, maybe sort of like this higher perspective, to just let this go and to not, not stay stuck in whichever, emotional state we are in. So even if you feel all over the place emotional, you will be able to release that, so to say. So yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where, yes, like I might feel like I need to have a good cry, and I might feel like somebody might piss me off or something like this, but at the same time I might like light a candle, say a prayer, do something creative, and release this energy. There is a bit of that. In general, there's a lot of supporting aspects to this full moon. Even Uranus, 23 degrees in Taurus, it is trine the sun at 24 degrees in Capricorn here. It is also sextile, of course, this full moon. So it receives a lot of positive aspects. So I feel like if we want to really have a bit of this, release these emotions, maybe confront something even as well, which with Mars in Cancer could be kind of counterintuitive thing. Mars in Cancer by itself is a bit passive aggressive in retrograde position. It's also, might be playing all kind of games. I caught some people playing, manipulative games with me. And, I know as intuitive as I am at this point, I owe myself not to question my intuition, essentially trust myself so much more. So trust your feelings at this point. Of course, practice discernment, but I think like if you feel some kind of way, maybe about a person or some different area of your life could be, but like trust it, because certain emotions are coming to the surface for a reason. Maybe even, there were things that you've been bottling up, not just for days, months and weeks, but maybe for years. There's been something you've been bottling up. With Cancer, of course, it could be related even to things related to family, some of your emotional experiences. There might have been emotional experiences you've been bottling up for so long. This could be the time where it might come to the surface, and yes, maybe it might not be pleasant at first, but it will come out. You will let it out. One time, a long time ago, actually, when I was in Mexico actually during the Great Conjunction, the Saturn-Jupiter, 0 Aquarius. I was doing Temazcal in Tepoztlan, like a little town just away, like right next to Mexico City. And, if you ever done Temazcal, essentially you are sitting there like in this very tight space, like from Earth, complete darkness. There is fire burning. There's usually a shaman. I didn't do any substances. I don't do any substances, not even the plant medicine, but still it was a very powerful experience. And at one point, the shaman who was there said, like, if you permit, like, there is a point in your chest that I need to press, and it was not my boobs, but it was like literally where my jewelry is right now, a little lower than that. And essentially he pressed that, and I started crying like never before. Yeah, essentially like I burst into tears because there was all these emotions that were waiting to be released, but they needed a little help. So this full moon is kind of, I don't know, it reminds me of my Temazcal experience in Mexico. So this might be literally the full moon that we needed for so long to release finally something we've been bottling up, unable to express. Maybe different things, just it's not just, there could be some catalysts in our recent experiences, whether interactions with friends, whether interactions with significant other, any people around us, but I feel like these are only catalysts to really release the bigger pain. So you might have like a friend who pisses you off, or I don't know, co-worker. Again, they don't have to piss you off, but they might trigger you in some kind of way. But like the pain that you release really has deeper roots. Maybe has to do, of course, with Cancer, Capricorn, relationship, mom and dad, family, stuff like that. Like our family, of course, is the first trauma stuff on planet Earth as we incarnate. Well, all jokes aside, we do choose certain family because there is certain pain that even needs to be activated for us, and again, it's not just pain. There could be good things too. Like, I'm thinking a lot about my experiences with my family. There was a lot of pain, but there were also good things. Like my dad always told me that I will always be very successful, that I will always be, like my dad would tell me when I was a kid that you will be a multimillionaire, you will be this, you will be that, you will go to the best school. And like, I'm not a multi-millionaire yet, but a lot of things I did. I was born in a terrible country, but I was able to get scholarship in a prestigious school and university here in America, travel so much, be successful in my career. So, it really helped. I think certain things my father used to tell me as a kid. But then, of course, there were other things that were not so great. Like for most of us, there were other things that were not so great necessarily. But yeah, so there might be some of this stuff coming up, and I think it's also very interesting and important, of course, to mention that even though this is the full moon, right, the 24th degree of Cancerian, we no longer have Pluto in Capricorn once again, right? This opposition that we had whenever we had the full moon in Cancerian, or the new moon, of course, of Cancerian, lunations in Cancerian, is no longer there because Pluto is in Aquarius now. So there is definitely something maybe even that we ourselves were not able to face before, that maybe we are finally ready to face now and to release now. And yes, I guess big emotional release is something that we could call this full moon. Just so if the emotions are coming up as it's not just on January 13th, but it's already this week. I'm already feeling this the week before. And of course, some days after that too. Let things come up. And if you need to confront something, if you feel like there are some people maybe also in your environment who are not being straight with you, because they could be passive aggressive. I recently caught some people in some passive aggressive energy around me, and it is what it is. It's like all I can do is decide, right, which boundaries I need to put around myself if I feel like I'm not being honored the way I deserve. And it's very easy. Now, of course, there's also other aspects here. We still have Venus. We have Venus actually in Pisces, nearly exact square to Jupiter in Gemini. And even though square is usually a bit more challenging aspect, Venus is also approaching Saturn, of course, which, of course, Venus and Saturn together, it's a little bit restrictive energy. We might not feel as holly jolly Christmas, and actually Christmas was Jupiter square Saturn, and even New Year's Eve. So there might have been some tension, some restrictions, but most of us were still able to have a good time. Now with Venus approaching the Saturn, squaring this Jupiter, it's this combination, I guess, also of us needing to get serious about some things, but at the same time keep the hope, for bigger, better things for ourselves. Again, even these aspects, I don't find them that problematic, and they are more in a positive aspect, if you even count this as an aspect to this full moon. The key here, though, is this Mars, of course, approaching retrograde at 27 Cancerian, which to me again is all about emotional release. So anyway, I don't know what else to add here. Let's go, I guess, into the 12 signs. I will briefly mention how this could manifest for you. Give this video a big thumbs up. As always, share your stories in the comments. And anyway, so let's start with Aries. Aries rising. Always check for rising first. Aries rising, sun and moon. For you, this full moon is happening in your 4th house of home, family, property. I have quite a few Aries clients who are currently dealing with estate matters. So again, it doesn't just have to do with your home, but it could be like your family members. So if there are some issues with maybe it could be even the home of your parents, it could be home of your family members, anything related to family and home, there is something that might reach a milestone, there's something that might reach some kind of resolution, release. Again, I have a few clients who are dealing with some bigger issues, like in terms of even inheritances, the trusts related to family members. So there might be definitely something important happening here. And of course, because Mars, your ruling planet, is there too, you are very involved in this. You might even be very busy with this. So you are resolving something very actively, and I feel like you're going to be very involved in this entire month of January, not just this full moon time, this entire month of January and February as well, because February is when Mars and Cancerian in your 4th house will turn direct at the 12th or the 14th degree. I'm not sure, but yes, it's it's somewhere around that. So January, February, even part of March, I feel like a lot of you are very much focused on something that's happening when it comes to your home, family, property, and it's going to be a big focus, not just of this full moon, but of the next few months, particularly January and February and even March. Okay, so for Tauruses, this is the full moon that's happening in your 3rd house that deals with your neighborhood, your neighbors, social media, people out and about, in your immediate environment, any kind of news news you hear. So there could be something related to your neighbors, siblings, or people in your immediate environment that might make you feel a little bit emotional. Now, because it is, again, we have here to look at everything in in conjunction, so to say, in togetherness of it all. I do think it's most likely going to feel like more positive news, because again, it's trine to you, sextile. The sun is trine your sign right now. The full moon itself is sextile. Your Venus also is exalted with Pisces. Yes, there is Saturn there, but I still feel like there is more positive influence rather than something more negative. I don't know, even for some of you, maybe you will find out a neighbor has a crush on you. No, I'm a Taurus sun. I really feel like this could be what could manifest. But other than that, there could be something related also to your social media. Most of us, whichever careers we are in, social media is part of it. So there's something, maybe you will have like even a bigger, better understanding how to market yourself on social media, media marketing. All these themes could be important. It's also, if you want to release your emotions during this full moon, I do recommend you to journal, to write things down, how you feel. Very often when I write things down, it helps me to, take out the thoughts from my head, so to say, which are like trapped in my head and keep circling around, into the paper. So it's a big emotional release. So if you Tauruses feel emotional, whatever is happening in your life, journaling, writing things down can really help. It could be this very cathartic experience for you. How people write this letter to some person and then like burn it and just release those emotions, or maybe some things that you want to leave behind in the past year, right? Technically we're still not in the new lunar year. Whatever it is you want to release, you no longer want to take this with you, into 2025. Like, you can do this now. It could be very cathartic. Full moon. Of course, when there was New Year's Eve, we had new moon the day before. So it was all the feeling of new beginnings, but we still might need to release some things from the previous year, okay? For Geminis, this is the full moon in your 12th, why do I want to say 12th house? In your second house of income, talents, resources, streams of income. So I don't want to say that the stream of income is ending, but you might have more clarity about your financial situation, where maybe you need to really tweak things, change things around. You might have this new, you might decide that you are ready for a new financial destiny. You might see how you sold yourself short. You didn't appreciate yourself. Again, I'm not a Gemini. I do have progressions there and also a lot of planets in Gemini. I tend to resonate a little bit with what Geminis are going through, to be honest, a lot. And I have to say, this is the theme that's been coming up for me as well, where I'm like, if somebody, I recently had this realization that if somebody doesn't fully adore me and love me, I just don't want them in my life. I've never used to be like that, to be honest. I've just been kind of thinking that even when it comes to my friendships, I don't want to be with people who, again, of course, obviously I don't have to, my friends don't have to be my crazy fans, but I definitely, I started thinking a lot about this, can I afford to be friends with people who don't appreciate my work? I never really, I always try to kind of, in my personal friendships, to separate my work versus just genuine friendships. But I realized that it was a recent experience, because I was meeting a lot of people, hanging out with a lot of people, right, around holidays. I realized that if I hang out with people who might not believe in me or who don't believe in what I do, this is a big no for me, because I need, it's by itself, it could be sometimes a very hard job, when you are online and you already deal with so much criticism, and it's, it's not always easy. It could be draining. I cannot afford to have people who don't fully support me, because long story short, there was some experiences with friends of friends who made some comments, and I was yeah, that's definitely a sign for me that unless these are the people who feel super happy to be around me, who love and respect what I do, again, it doesn't mean that they have to kiss my ass. I will take criticism from real friends, or genuine feedback from real friends who genuinely want the best for me anytime. But at the same time, if they don't even believe in what I do, if they gossip behind my back, if they make, some kind of condescending or passive aggressive comments, if they, don't see the value in what I do, like, I give so much of myself, like my life is my work in, in so many ways, right? My whole life. And if people don't appreciate it, it's like, they don't appreciate me, because I'm not my job. I'm not an employee, right? Like all the things I do, whether it's my spiritual work, whether it's my creative work, I give 100% of myself into this. This is me. It's not something I do just for paycheck, or it's not something I do for like, to just make money. Yeah, of course I have to make money, obviously, to even keep doing things that I'm doing. But like, not respecting, not valuing, not seeing, the light in what I do, these people cannot be in my life. And I never had to think about this before. This was one of the recent more painful experiences that I had, which I never even had, like nothing ever even... Oh my God, I don't even know why I'm sharing this. Some of you guys need to hear this probably, but like I never even had to think about this, but recently I had, and yes, this made me realize some deep stuff. But yeah, even to the degree that like I open my heart to some people, but they might even be gossiping, discussing, something, and not valuing, not cherishing, not seeing the value, not supporting my work. I've had some experience where I had to think like, people who don't even support my work in any way. Again, it's not a prerequisite to be my friend, but like if they never even support my work, like then like it just makes me think, and especially like maybe just not being super supportive of my work is okay, but if on top of that there is even some tones of disrespect, or some people who like, there was somebody who recently tried to humble me, I guess, because they feel humbled by their own life every day, I suppose. And, maybe it even worked. Maybe it even emotionally triggered me. But you know what? I cut off people these days for good. And there's no re-entry. So yes, maybe they succeeded in hurting me. I'm a sensitive person, especially with people who are close to my heart. Maybe they succeeded in that. Maybe they tried to humble me. Maybe they tried to trigger me. Maybe they succeeded in that. But you know what? They also lost access to me forever. And I will never, and I do think I'm a highly valuable person. And, it's their loss, so to say, because I'm not allowing anything like this near me. I think, maybe some of you guys who are also artists or in a more different space, because those of us who are like who actually pursue our dreams, and whether we are artists, YouTubers, spiritual healers, is a big difference from those people who just, clock in, clock out at their job. And of course, expectation of friendships, expectation of our inner circle is a little bit different than the person who is just, goes 9 to 5 and gets their paycheck. Not to look down on it, but it is a different life path. So I don't know, let me know in the comments if this resonated, in any way, your thoughts. Yeah, this was like the most full moon in Cancer conjunct Mars retrograde in Cancer thing I could probably share for this. But other than that, again, I don't know why, but I feel like it resonates with quite some of you, even though it might not astrologically feel the most relevant. However, I think also what I want to say here is that for a lot of you, yes, your financial situation might make you feel quite literally also emotional, but again, use whatever emotions you have to make the best of it, to make a plan, to come out of whatever, if you're having any issues, to come out 100 times stronger, okay? Now, let's go to Cancerian itself. So, Cancerians, this is the full moon in your sign. Those of you with placements right around 24th degree, 23rd, 24th, but even all the way 20th, like the third decan, so to say, of Cancerian, you guys will feel it the most. You might feel emotional. You might feel triggered right now. You might feel like, ooh, it's on. You guys might be triggered right now. So I have actually a close friend of mine who has her birthday, I think it's right around July 15th, if you were born right around that. Be careful right now, okay? Because you might get triggered, you might get provoked. There might be some provocation from outside. Take care of your physical body, especially those of you Cancerian risings right now. Again, this shall too pass, but this for you, there's a little bit more need to take care of yourself. You might get very emotional during this full moon. Just understand that it's okay. You know, it's kind of like part of the game. You could release a lot of pent up emotions right now. Jupiter is still in your 12th house, you know, trying to help you heal, trying to help you purge limiting beliefs, any kind of abandonment wounds. So take a deep breath during this full moon. There's a big feeling of closure, but at the same time, you know, you are not alone. Reach out to people who are supportive. You are not alone. This too shall pass. Let me know how you guys doing in the comments. But of course, how it will manifest depends for each of you based on your astrological chart. You know, for some of you it will resonate more, for some of you less. Again, this is the full moon that still has a lot of supportive aspects, so you know, you're not alone in whatever it is you are dealing. Good luck, Cancerian. Let me know how it goes. You know, I'm available in case you need any even same day readings, in case there is any emergency. So hopefully not, though. I genuinely wish not. I hope it all will be just very healing for you, and just maybe some emotional release that is very healing. Okay, so let's go now to the sign of Leo. For Leos, this is the full moon in your 12th house of hidden enemies, subconscious endings. So an emotional ending could be something you will see very clearly about who your true friends are, who are not. Leos, and especially Leo risings, you're one of the signs that needs to be more careful, you know, right now, especially when it comes to travel, especially when it comes to dealing with any kind of hidden enemies, especially when it comes to your health even as well. The sun is in your 6th. Again, I don't think that it's something that is like that bad. It's a lot of, this full moon receives a lot of supportive aspects. However, with Mars retrograde there, definitely if there's any hidden enemies, manipulators, they are very active during this full moon. So take care of yourself, take care of your safety, send in your prayers. I hope everything will be okay. It will, but at the same time, you know, you also, there's a saying in my Russian language. It says something like "береженого Бог бережет," which is essentially like you take care of yourself, God takes care of you extra, or something like that. I don't know if it's a correct translation, but nevertheless, do be careful. I wish you all the best, Leos. Let me know how it goes. Again, I'm available if you need me. And yes, let's go to the next one, Virgos. For Virgos, the full moon in the sign of Cancerian is going to be in your 11th house of friendships, groups, goals, associations. Something related to friends could come up. Actually, interesting, I'm a Virgo moon, and this is where some of the triggers been coming up for me. Community. Also, your dreams, your goals for yourself, you can achieve greater clarity. If anyone, by the way, in your friend group is trying to provoke you right now, trying to push your buttons, understand that for some of you, they could be manipulating you on purpose. Like I have encountered recently, not a friend, but more like a friend of a friend, who I felt right away was jealous and triggered by me. Like from the, you know how from the second you meet somebody, you right away feel like you trigger this person's whole sense of identity just by being yourself. And yes, essentially after that, you know, it's like, yeah, I'm a very intuitive person. Like you can say whatever you want about me, but like the fact that I'm actually a real one, you know, it's like it's, you know, when you have certain gifts, sometimes you don't even want them, but you have them and they are there. And you know, somebody can say you're gifted, somebody say you're not, but it doesn't change the fact you are, right? And I could feel that this person is triggered by me so badly, and then as a result of that, there were passive-aggressive remarks here and there. Like we wanted to go to one place, this person specifically, just because I wanted to go there, insisted we go somewhere else, and this was the entire, you know, time of me hanging out around this person. She essentially would like take the opposite view or the opposite side of whatever I wanted, because she wanted really to make sure I don't get what I want. And I know all these things because I'm very intuitive. Like I can see through a person that they were humbled by just my existence. So it's like, as mean as it sounds, they were humbled just by me merely existing, like by me just being the way I am. You know, and they were trying to humble me instead, try to show me how you don't always get what you want. And you know what, like at first I was like, whatever, it's a friend of a friend, for the sake of my friend, you know, let's you know, be a bigger person. But at some point it was just way too much, like was way out of line. And essentially, yeah, I remove this kind of influence very quickly. So yes, if somebody in the circle of your friends tries to provoke you now, be careful. At the same time, depending on where you are, this might be a great moment to confront something about this. Again, be careful. Mars is retrograde though, so there could be a big emotional release. Maybe you will choose to release some kind of person from your life, from your group of friends. At the same time, you will have greater clarity of your goals. notice which friends of your friends and your goals astrologically are connected for a reason. And without going too deep into the esoterics of that, it is true, when you have friends who are supportive of your goals, when you are friends with right friends, so to say, when you're friends with people who are on the right path in life, it's easier to achieve your goals. It's important for your goals and your community, your friends, to be aligned, whether it's your spiritual community, whether it is your audience, whether it's immediate friends. Again, some will argue how far 11th house goes in terms of what kind of friends it describes. Not to go too much into it, it describes all people you interact with in terms of like friends community, people who surround you, your bigger circle, so to say. So if you feel like around certain friends for some reason it's harder for you to achieve your goals, maybe they are somehow taking you back. I have South Node in my 11th. I felt this so many times throughout my life that I'm held back somehow by friendships. I know it sounds mean to say, but it's a karmic thing, so to say. And sometimes you make friends with certain people, and I don't know if you ever noticed, but I don't know if it's evil eye or I don't know what it is, but you somehow start getting behind your goals. Somehow maybe your business is not doing that well or whatever. If you have this kind of influence, this is going to be exposed and revealed during this full moon. At the same time, maybe you will align yourself and start making strides in the direction of making friends with quote-unquote right people, whatever that means to you. Example, like lately, my community around me are all the people who live a very healthy lifestyle, work out a lot, super into fitness. I have no choice but also become this way, right? Peer pressure, but it's a good one. So you will re-examine something about your friends, goals, communities, how they are aligned or not. Your goals, what you want to achieve for yourself and your friends, have to be aligned. There is even saying outside of astrology, right? Show me who your friends are, I'll show you the future. So choose wisely during this time. Good luck, Virgos. Dear Libras, for you, the full moon is happening in your 10th house of career, social status. So big, something with your bosses could be taking place. Be careful, boss might try to provoke you, push your buttons. You know what to do. Don't lose, so to say, your calmness. A calm person is a powerful person, is your mantra for this full moon. Because definitely there could be some provocations or somebody, when it comes to authority figures, when it comes to bosses, when it comes to people of authority, there might be a bit of tensions. At the same time, there could be a greater clarity for you to understand what do you need to do in order to achieve your career goals, in order to change your career, in order to elevate your social status. And yes, there could be tensions with others, but at the same time, it's kind of like sometimes the pain of a situation needs to come to the surface so that we could do something to change it. And sometimes the pain is the beginning, is the birth, right, of something new, of something better. So you can reinvent yourself when it comes to career. You can also understand which people might be aligned, so to say, with your career goals. And again, there might be something with boss or authority figure that could be an subject of tension. So try to stay calm. Again, it's hard because when this kind of full moon is in the 10th house, it's sort of like the opposite of what you want to do, right? It's like, you want to feel your feelings, but this is sort of, I guess, the trick of, Libra being the 7th, right? So for Aries, it's natural in the 4th. With family, for you, it's the 10th house. And yes, of course, feel your emotions, but at the same time, how they say there is something about saving face or whatever? Don't let them see you sweat. Cry at home if you need to, where no one sees. But at work, don't let them see you sweat. So good luck, Libra. Let me know how it goes. If you need anything, I'm available. I'll be available. My dear Scorpios, this is the full moon for you happening in the 9th house. That has to do with travel. It has to do with legal matters. That has to do with your overall direction, sense of life spiritually. So there could be a big moment for you when it comes to spiritual growth, when it comes to you understanding something that perhaps was, previously blocked somehow. There could be emotional, spiritual awakening for some of you taking place. Of course, one precaution I will give you is try to not provoke anybody in the field of law. Maybe like no religious type of tension. Again, this is the full moon that's in harmonious aspect to you, so I highly doubt something like this will happen, but try to avoid any kind of religious crazies or like, ideological crazies. Stay away from all that. It might be tough, during this time, because you yourself might feel like more passionate about your beliefs. But at the same time, you might also have more clarity about your own beliefs, the bigger picture, the bigger vision, beliefs about, like, your spiritual beliefs might realign in some way. Again, Mars also partially represents you as your ancient ruling planet, so you yourself might see which beliefs might have been holding you back. You might get very emotional. You might have a new sense of purpose even as well at this moment in time. You might feel like there is definitely some things that you want to realign when it comes to your spiritual beliefs, how you see the world. Again, if you are traveling, do be a little bit more careful. I would avoid travel. You know how there is a government sometimes posts, avoid unnecessary travel to this and this place. This is, I guess, I would say, some people would argue with me, I know, but I would say avoid unnecessary travel. That's like foreign travel during this time. Just my kind of like just my kind how to say kind caution to you. It's better to be extra secure, I think. But at the same time, there could be some unexpected luck that could come in. Pot of gold, I'm seeing, pot of luck. So, it's not so bad at the end of the day. Again, just with Mars retrograde, you know the drill. There's a whole other also separate video on Mars retrograde. Do watch that as I go there more in detail. Good luck, Scorpios. Let me know how it goes. Let's go to Sag. For Sagittarius, this is the full moon in your 8th house. It deals with shared resources, intimacy. You could get out of all signs much more emotional during this time. You could suddenly, there could be something when it comes to unearned income, when it comes to any kind of closures or endings, when it comes to you guys, those of you who are traveling, or just anyone in general, Sagittarius risings especially, be more careful as well, because you could be a little bit more crisis prone during this full moon. So again, you are one of the signs that needs to avoid unnecessary risks right now, especially with Mars being there in the 8th house. Mars retrograde, the full moon is there again, even though it's not as difficult of a full moon in terms of other aspects are actually supportive, so I think it's all going to be okay. Still, you could be right now, if you take unnecessary risks, it's not the best time. So try to be more careful during this time. Try to avoid any kind of crisis, like potential situations to the degree that's possible. Try to put extra protection, prayer. I hope all ends up being very, very good for you, and you will be safe and happy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's go to the sign of Capricorn. For Capricorns, this is the full moon, of course, in your 7th house of partnerships, committed partnerships, relationships, any kind of business, even partnerships and client dealings are represented by 7th house as well. So there could be definitely Capricorns out of all signs. There could be some back and forth. There could be some drama with your partner. Yes, as I said in January horoscopes, and even in Mars retrograde separate video, your partner could be acting up right now, very emotional. Your partner could be very emotional right now. But again, in that the reason why we share astrology is not be like, oh, this is what's gonna happen and that's it, you're powerless, you cannot do anything. No, quite the opposite. We share this so that you know about potential situation that could come up, and you could essentially, if your partner will be acting, let's just say, batshit crazy, you can take a step back, you can take a chill pill, you can be like, okay, you will not provoke me, you will not win, and we can rise above, so to say, the zodiac influence. So yes, there might be, of course, for some of you, a big closure of a partnership too, something that been coming for a long time. An ending could happen for Capricorn risings especially. Let me know how it goes. Of course, this is general. In your personal chart, something different could be coming. Let me know your thoughts, and let's go to Aquarius. For Aquarius, this is the full moon in your 6th house of health and work. Definitely be more careful with your health and with work, with your small pets. Something with your pets could be happening during this full moon. Take care of your pets extra too. Take care of your health extra too during this full moon. Maybe also with work, there could be some things that you need to take care of that come out of nowhere. Again, this is not necessarily the most critical full moon, except, of course, the full moon is with this retrograde Mars in Cancer. But something that's happening now, you already are aware of that, might have been aware of this for the past few months. And it is something that you might be also resolving, especially when it comes to matters of work, health for the next few months. Again, I don't focus so much on health astrology in my readings, in my horoscopes, but definitely take extra precaution during this time. Take some rest if you can. Again, when it comes to work, yes, you might be more busy, so try to, not get emotional about it, but try to, do what you can. Small steps every day. Of course, you have Pluto now in your sign. Those of you early born Aquarius is already feeling, the grip with, how you say, the grip of Pluto. But it's all good. Just, try to, around January 13, not overexhaust yourself and take care of what you can, and trust that it's all good. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, Aquarius. Let's go to Pisces now. For Pisceans, the full moon in your 5th house. How romantic. Something romantic, something creative, something when it comes to your children. Could be, if you have children, of course. If you don't have, it could be just about romantic matters or creativity. It could be the center of attention during this full moon. Maybe you fall in love. You've been falling in love, but at the same time, there's been certain issues, so to say, in the matters of the heart. Where's Mars retrograde? Maybe you didn't know how to start if you're dating again, or if you have a romantic partner you're with, maybe there is some issues there and you want to resolve them. For you Pisces, of course, there's Venus in your sign right now. There is Saturn in your sign. North Node is literally entering your sign during the time of this full moon. So the focus is on you, on your creativity, on your love. It's very romantic, very creative full moon for a lot of you. Very emotional as well. To be honest, I kind of like it for you, like for Pisceans. Yes, I feel like for you, out of all signs, this could be very creative, very imaginative time where you might have more fun even as well, as much as, again, of course, be careful with Mars retrograde in Cancer. Don't overexhaust yourself. But there's something very romantic, very creative, very fun. You might feel more attractive now than usual. You might feel like you are ready to attract that, soulmate into your life. Or if you are dating somebody, this could be very romantic, creative time. Of course, you could get very emotional during this time too because of Mars influence on this full moon. So let me know how it goes. But it overall doesn't look that bad for you. There's Venus right now also in your sign, about to conjunct Pisces. North Node is entering your sign. Neptune is in your sign, about to conjunct that North Node. It's an interesting time for you, definitely. So, prepare for something romantic, for something magical, I guess. And at the very minimum, it could just be a very creative time where you express your creativity, express yourself in a very beautiful way. So let me know how it goes, dear Pisceans. Again, please remember that this is general. If you need personalized consultations, I will be probably available during this full moon still. There's even same day readings available. I love you all, guys. I wish you nothing but the best on this full moon. I hope the year started well for you. I hope, even though some of us might feel, yes, more emotional during this full moon, still it's going to be a beautiful energy that will help us, to achieve our beautiful, carefully probably crafted goals that we set during the new moon of Capricorn, right on New Year's Eve, or day before New Year's Eve. So embrace whatever comes, release, the expectation, let yourself feel your emotions. Don't get provoked by anybody's also passive-aggressive behavior. And I think this will be a beautiful full moon. No matter what, even if we feel triggered, it's okay. It's part of life. Thanks so much. Give this video a big thumbs up. Check out other videos on this channel. I love you all. Thank you for being part of my channel. Thank you so much again, and we'll talk soon. Bye.